Another corrupt Democrat politician is going to jail. Just part of a much bigger trend, tons of other Democrats being arrested or indicted recently, particularly in the state of Pennsylvania. Movita Johnson Harrell pleading guilty to stealing from charity is just the latest update in the state. There have been so many Democrats taken down by corruption charges in the state that they are now getting worried about their chances in 2020. Already mentioned in a previous video how one of the top mega donors to Democrats in Pennsylvania was indicted last year, John Dougherty. That case is still ongoing. So looking at this newest update on Movita Johnson Harrell, another Democrat from the state sentenced in court today. Johnson Harrell was elected to the Pennsylvania General Assembly during a special election in 2019. She resigned just a few months later. Before she was charged for corruption and sent to jail, Movita Johnson Harrell was celebrated after making history earlier last year as the first Muslim woman elected to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Shortly after, Johnson Harrell resigned from office in the face of criminal charges against her announced by the state attorney general. Former state lawmaker pleads guilty to stealing from charity. Former Pennsylvania lawmaker Movita Johnson Harrell pleaded guilty to theft and related charges Thursday and will spend at least 3 months in jail in a case in which state prosecutors allege that she stole more than $500,000 from her own nonprofit and spent it on family vacations, designer clothing, furs, and personal bills. Johnson Harrell, 53 years old, did not admit in court to stealing any specific amount of money designated for the nonprofit, Motivations Education and Consultation Associates, which she had established to help people struggling with mental illness, addiction, and homelessness. The state chief deputy attorney general of the criminal prosecution section and deputy attorney general said after the hearing that their office still alleges Johnson Harrell had unlawfully taken the full amount of more than $500,000 originally alleged. Under a negotiated plea deal, the judge sentenced Johnson Harrell to 11.5 to 23 months in county jail plus 2 years probation. Johnson Harrell pleaded guilty to 3 theft charges, 2 tampering offenses, and a perjury charge. Each of the third-degree felony theft charges relates to a range of $2,000 to $25,000. She also pleaded no contest to 2 misdemeanor charges related to campaign or ethics code violations. The judge said that if she has no write-ups or misconducts in jail during her first 3 months, she can serve the remainder of her minimum sentence, or 8.5 months, under house arrest. She is scheduled to begin her jail sentence February 6th. The judge also says that she could be a candidate for early probation termination, which is a common practice in his courtroom, and gave Johnson Harrell encouraging words. Johnson Harrell apologized to her family, several members of whom were in the courtroom. As restitution, Johnson Harrell will surrender one of her properties that will be sold, the proceeds of which will be used to pay restitution to the nonprofit, the Attorney General's office said in a statement. Johnson Harrell, a Democrat who represented West Philadelphia, resigned after being charged in December by the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office with theft, perjury, tampering with public records, and related crimes following a grand jury investigation. She was accused of diverting funds from Motivations Education and Consultation Associates, which she helped establish, to help people struggling with mental illness, addiction, and homelessness, and which received money from Medicaid and Social Security disability benefits. Quote, the thefts continued even after the defendant's appointment to a high-level position in the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office and her election to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, the AG's office wrote in its criminal complaint, adding, quote, despite illegal infusions of cash, the defendant amassed large debts, including delinquent mortgage payments, utility bills, and auto loan payments for her Porsche. From at least December 2015, Johnson Harrell repeatedly misrepresented financial transactions to accomplish her theft scheme, the complaint says. Johnson Harrell spent a little more than 8 months in the state legislature after winning a special March election to represent the 190th district. She replaced longtime state rep Vanessa Lowry Brown, who was driven from office by a bribery scandal. So before she was sentenced to jail, Johnson Harrell was elected to replace this other corrupt Democrat, Vanessa Lowry Brown, pictured here, who was convicted of bribery. According to the AG's office, Johnson Harrell misused these charity funds to pay about $15,000 for clothing, including $5,500 for 4 fur coats, $19,000 in vacation expenses for 2017 and 2018 trips to Atlanta, Ocean City, Orlando, and twice to Mexico, $20,000 for overdue mortgage bills, about $20,000 in overdue water, gas, and tax bills, $7,979 to satisfy her restitution following a 2013 summary conviction for making a false statement involving employer-withheld taxes at a West Philadelphia personal care home she operated, $4,000 to a criminal defense attorney for a relative's case, $2,500 in contributions to a 2017 campaign, and over $2,000 for overdue payments on her Porsche. The AG's office also alleged in its complaint that Johnson Harrell paid herself monthly rent checks of $3,345 a month from the MECA's bank account for a personal care home she operated from the nonprofit on Powelton Avenue, even after she abruptly closed it in May of 2018 after state regulators found no staff on duty and unsanitary conditions. She also paid herself $50,000 in rent money in 2017 for a property she used as a group home for the nonprofit even after she stopped operating it that February, the complaint says. Quote, while Johnson Harrell was lining her pockets with MECA funds, MECA's residents were living in squalor, Attorney General Josh Shapiro has said. Johnson Harrell also misused MECA funds by writing $12,000 in checks in December of 2015 to her then State House campaign, the complaint says. When she ran again in January of 2019, she deposited $12,500 from MECA funds into her campaign, and on March 11th deposited $30,000, but immediately withdrew half of that, it says. Investigators wrote that Johnson Harrell created fraudulent records and lied to authorities about funds related to MECA for her own benefit, and that she routinely moved money from MECA's account to her personal account or a relative's which she controlled. In a written statement, Johnson Harrell's attorney said, quote, Movida is an exceptional woman who will serve her sentence and then return to her mission of advocacy. A judge has set her surrender date for February 6th. A special election to fill her seat is scheduled for February 25th. So very interesting, still following a lot of arrests and indictments going on, and Pennsylvania still appears to be one of the key states where a lot of this is happening. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think about this latest update, Movida Johnson Harrell being sentenced in court today. If you could give this video a thumbs up, that's greatly appreciated, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Also, down in the video description are links to my Patreon or PayPal accounts where you can support this channel directly, patreon.com/realityreader or paypal.me/realityreader. Thanks so much, everybody that has contributed. Even $1 or $2 makes a huge difference. helps me keep talking about these issues. Also, thanks again, big thank you everybody that has been sharing these videos and sharing the channel to help get the information out there. I will follow up soon. Thanks again.